미국에서 알게 된 동생 엘리예요. 약 3주 전 저녁 초대가 되어서 갔어요. 대화 도중에 콤부차 얘기가 나왔지요. 건강 음식에 관심이 많은 나는 너무 궁금해졌어요.
안녕하세요. 오늘은 여기 제 사랑하는 동생 집에 초대가 됐어요. 왜냐면은 동생 신랑이 오늘 이 효소 kombucha를 만드는 법을 가르쳐 주겠다고 합니다. 한번 볼까요?
안녕하세요. 오늘은 저의 사랑하는 동생 신랑이 오늘 kombucha 그걸 뭐라 그러지? 까먹었어.
So here's what we need to make our first batch of kombucha. What we need is 35 grams of loose leaf black tea. You can use other types of tea, white tea, green tea if you want, but I find that black tea works the best. You can use organic black tea if you want to, doesn't really matter. You can use 1 cup of sugar, so that's just regular white sugar. You don't want to use brown sugar because it just takes longer to break down. So anyway, the sugar is not for you. The sugar is for this, which is the SCOBY. And SCOBY is the symbiotic colony I forgot, of bacteria or something like that. I forget what it stands for. But this is a living bacteria. So right now, as you can see, it grows in layers. So what you can do is, once it ferments, it's just going to keep on growing. Once you have too much, just give it to a friend and they can make their own batch of SCOBY, of kombucha. So what we've got is SCOBY here, and it's in about 1.5 cups of starter tea. Now, this starter tea came from my previous batch of kombucha. Obviously, when you start, you may not have any starter tea. So what you can do is, you can go to the store, buy a bottle of kombucha, and you can use 1.5 cups, maybe 2 cups of that as your starter tea. Your starter tea contains some of the bacteria, which is going to kick off that growth. And it also protects the SCOBY from molding as well, because it's I guess it's slightly alkaline or acidic, I don't know. It's one of those two, but that will protect your kombucha from molding. So black tea, what we're going to do is we're going to boil this for maybe like 10-15 minutes. Just regular, filtered distilled water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this. Again, this is 35 grams. You just want to keep it in a strainer. You can use tea bags too. Maybe you use about 10 black tea bags for a gallon of kombucha. Over here is 35 grams, which is approximately 10 tea bags. Close that. And what I'm going to do is just boil this in a pot of water for about 10 to 15 minutes. So we've boiled the black tea in water for maybe like 15 minutes now. As you can see, it's very dark. But we're going to dilute this with more water. But before we do that, this is just plain black tea with water. While it's still hot, I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. Again, this is just regular white sugar. You can use organic, you can choose not to use organic. Again, it's food for the SCOBY. So I'm just going to pour that in here. And I'm going to give it a stir. So I want to dissolve all the sugar. Okay, so this is concentrated tea, concentrated sweetened tea, and what we're going to do is we're going to cool it down with cold water before we put the SCOBY in, because we don't want to put the SCOBY, this is a live living organism, we don't want to put it in here because the temperature will kill it. Right. So we definitely want to cool it down before we put the SCOBY in. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to strain it one more time because there might be some loose leaf tea in there. So I'm just going to pour this in. Again, just do this nice and gently. This is a gallon jar, I've cleaned it thoroughly with soapy water, and I've also poured some hot water in here just to kill any excess bacteria. So now we've got the sweetened tea. You can add cold water to this. I'm going to choose to use like cool down water from the fridge, which will cool it down quicker. So I'm just going to pour this in. One. And let's take another one. I'm just going to give it a quick stir. You can probably use a thermometer to test how cool it is, so I'm going to do that. So right now it's at 24, which is a bit lower than I expected, but that's fine. So what I can do, I can just top this off with regular filtered water. So we've filled up, we've diluted it with cold water. Leave a bit of room because we've got 1.5 cups of the starter tea in here and the SCOBY. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna put it, actually you know what, I'm just gonna use half of it because I'm going to give this half to my friend.
Jaime.
Jaime, that's right. So I'm gonna put that in here and take the starter tea. Actually, I'm going to give Jaime the starter tea. I'm just going to use half of it. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just top off the rest with water. And if you want to fill it to about the neck. That's pretty good. Let's give it a stir. Okay, you might see these strands, that's fine, that's just yeast strands. And again, you want to use the starter tea to get a good growth and also to protect the SCOBY from mold. And it doesn't need to be like the right way up, that's fine. And then what we're going to do, I'm just going to dry off the rim. I'm going to cover this with a coffee filter. What you want is a breathable layer, so you can use like I guess a cloth. I find you know, a plain coffee filter works fine. You won't get like the small like stringy bits falling into your kombucha, but you do want to keep it covered, keep it protected from like flies, dust, any kind of like, you know, microbes. So put a coffee filter, put a rubber band around it, stick it in a dark, warm place for about 1 week. And we're just gonna put a coffee filter over, rubber band, and we're gonna put that, store that away for 1 week in a nice, dark, dry, dust-free place. If it's warm, that's great because you'll get better growth. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. Room temperature is fine. Okay, so you want for your first ferment, you want to store that away for 1 week. I'm going to put a reminder on Alexa to remind me in 1 week. So Alexa, remind me in 1 week to bottle my kombucha.
And on September 20th, should I remind you?
At 7 p.m.
Okay, I'll remind you September 20th at 7 p.m.
All right.
So this, half of my SCOBY I'm going to give to my friend Jaime. It's stored in the starter tea so she can start her own batch of kombucha.
Okay, let me try that.
Alright, so Jamie's gonna take good care of you, okay?
All right. 앞부분 잘 보셨죠? 네, 선물로 받아온 검정티를 물에 10분에서 15분 정도 끓였어요. 그 후 스팀물을 잘 소독된 유리병에 층을 대고 부어주었죠. 흰 설탕을 틴물이 뜨거울 때 넣고 잘 녹여주었어요. 그런 후 찬물을 넣고 온도를 적당히 맞춰주었죠. 그리고 스코비를 넣은 후 다시 잘 저어주었습니다. 스코비는 살아있는 유산균이기 때문에 뜨거울 때 넣으면 안 된다는 것에 주의하세요. 마지막 단계로 커피 필터를 공기가 통하게 위를 막아준 후 고무줄로 고정시키고 어두운 곳에 일주일을 두면 되지요. 발효는 일주일 정도의 시간이 걸려요. It takes about a week for the fermentation.